Girls are not single because there are not enough men out there. They are single because they're exhausted.
Don't go on a date after doing 12 hours long meetings.
Not everybody wants to admit they work at Deloitte, guys. It's a little embarrassing.
Once a date goes bad, okay, I come back and I use work as my coping mechanism.
So office
zero.
romance, discuss.
No.
Be from two different departments, won't be from the same department.
I'm or gym ठीक है, but real life में नहीं हो रहा.
There should be breakup leave. You don't want me in your office on that day.
Also, good morning text क्यों नहीं हो रहे हैं? क्योंकि सुबह email check हो रहे हैं ना.
At least 4 to 5 cases where I've gone out with a guy who's in the banking sector and he's very, very categorically said that, work timings will be a problem.
By 28, I had planned, I'll have a stable job, I'll have a stable partner. ना ही stable job हो रही है, ना ही stable partner हो रहा है.
Welcome to today's Sync Up with the corporate girlies. Now, we were a generation of women raised on powerful boss ladies like Donna Paulson, Jessica Pearson. Now we're killing it. Now we're doing it. We love our work. We thrive, and it's a huge part of our identities. At what point were you guys going to tell us that excelling in the corporate world was also going to affect our love lives? Today, that's what we're talking about at the Brunch Club. Welcome all.
Thanks, Chandra.
We did finally circle back.
I want to understand, how has your corporate professional lives affected your search for a life partner?
So I want to start by saying girls are not single because there are not enough single men out there. They are single because they're exhausted.
Yeah.
When I have to, sort of revert back to that email at 11 p.m. and I'm still working on the weekend, which are sort of for romance. So then you have to come up with the best strategy. Like, how do I do everything and spend time with my partner?
I'll give you an idea. How about an Excel sheet? And you can just go and put all the tasks in there. Like 9 a.m. maybe you just go for your yoga classes, 10 a.m. breakfast, and 11 a.m. laundry, and maybe 2 to 3 a lunch with your partner.
In the back of my mind, I'm always thinking oh shoot, I gotta check that email, I gotta write that message, I gotta check Slack. And those pings are either literally pinging me on my phone or mentally occupying space that is taking time away from me.
Also the guilt of, sort of choosing your date over your work. The guilt of that is crazy.
Sometimes I've been on brunches and I just feel like because the work actually consumes you and it's always in the back of the head. So sometimes I just keep looking at the guy and the guy speaking, I zone out. And I zone out and I start thinking about the moment he'll just stop and I'll start using my phone and just drop a message to the client and get back to it. So I think there was a level where I started having work dreams. Like the client was coming in my dream and that was hell. I woke up to what?
Yeah.
And yet we wouldn't have it any other way. I think that's the best thing is none of us would ever choose a different life. So that's why we're hustling at work and we do love it. It's just so important to find a way to carve out time for the other goals that you have in your personal life. And my parents have always told me, especially now that I'm later in my 20s, they're you're so committed to your work and you set targets at work. And you work towards them and you achieve them. So why don't you apply the same thought process to your dating life? If you have a certain target in your dating life, if you'd like to meet someone, then put goals to it. Apply KPIs to marriage.
I use work as my coping mechanism. I do my job and excel at it and then feel oh, I'm fine.
But you know what happens? Our mind knows कि ये dating है, इसका हो जाएगा कुछ ना कुछ. But this is work. This work is paying me.
Work is paying you a salary, but a healthy long-term relationship can pay you immeasurably in so many more ways. I just think it's harder to quantify and prioritize.
We have also heard that a lot of people who are here are mostly lonely only because in order to get there you have to compromise on your relationships. That Priyanka Chopra movie, abhi main ready nahi hu. I have my entire career ahead of me, and then she was the villain. But she was right.
Yeah.
She had to choose the career. क्या option था उसके पास? And also ZNMD when Hrithik Roshan was sort of working, everyone was criticizing Hrithik Roshan तो नहीं बनना. Today सब बनना चाहते हैं. Everyone's dream is to work and keep working and earn more.
That doesn't go well in the dating world. I'll give you an example. I was meeting a guy and I just, subtly mentioned that we've spent so many years working on our career, just like you, right? And the minute I said that I'm prioritizing my career, the shift in the body language, in the expression, and that feeling that, okay, so she's not going to compromise at all. Next. I felt that energy.
If you had to date someone in the same industry as you are, because you know your work work hours and you know how it works and everything. Would you do that?
Hell no. Like, I love learning from my partner, and I love having a partner who expands my horizons academically, professionally, and opens my eyes to new ways of thinking.
Also, it's a personality trait that you're bringing to the
Yeah.
table. It's not like I can't expect to find someone who is also in consulting. I would rather not have somebody who's in consulting because I know how draining it gets.
Yeah.
I'll go back home to someone who's just coming after like 9 to 5 and has that
Yeah.
time and has that kind of energy so that he can just be the 50%.
मेरे को नहीं लगता कि industry is more like a, at least for me, कि filter है, but I think careers are filters for me. Like certain careers is like a big no-no for me. Never dating an actor.
I would never date a pilot. Never in my life.
would
I hate it. I just hate it. I see them and even if I like the guy, I'm like,
No,
never,
bhai.
never. Don't
I would
look at
never
that.
date a lawyer. Never. Yeah, I'll be like two people just arguing all the time.
But what if it's like मेरे तो normal routine है, उसका night shift चल रहा है. Like he is coming and going.
I've gone out with like a couple of guys who are working in the banking sector, and we have this initial conversation, and then they completely jump into, okay, what are your work timings like? And the minute I say, some days it gets really hectic, and of course I have my months where I do have to do overtime, they check out because they're like, it's not going to work out if my wife is not coming maybe like at 6, right? And I would want to date someone or marry someone who's working at the same time that I am.
But I'm glad that he did. You
Good,
were
he
not
told
stuck.
you up
At least,
front,
yeah.
yeah.
You were
And
not
this is not one case, two cases, at least 4 to 5 cases where I've gone out with a guy and he's very, very categorically said that, work timings will be a problem.
Just to build on that, I've had an experience too where someone who have like family businesses or they run their own legacy businesses, he said that, I want to marry a girl who is not working in this high-powered corporate environment. And I was curious, I was like, oh, why is that? And he was like, my work has so much flexibility that I can up and spontaneously book a trip and travel somewhere. Or, oh, we can go out for really nice dinners throughout the week. Like, he was a very shocking person. He was like, I want someone to enjoy that with. And I know that I'd be constantly fighting against कि मेरे इतने leaves कट रहे हैं, मेरा इतना timing है, I have to complete my hours. And he was like, ideal तो यही है, a wife who doesn't work. Then I can just like hang out with her. He literally was like, I just want to chill. Like, my dream in life is to chill with my wife, like get up super late, stay up super late.
I have a friend who literally married a guy who's a businessman and she's ready to do the teaching job. Like, she'll come back at 1, spend time, and she's very happy with that. So of course it's a personal choice.
I have a story, like there was a friend of friend. She was dating a guy who was earning half of what she was. She was like doing really, really well in terms of the ladder and promotions. And the guy was struggling a bit. And they were very, very serious and engagement hone wali thi. Suddenly, there was a switch. Quick 2 weeks, guy was earning less, was out of the picture. And why? Because the new guy had 1.5x salary than with the girl. And they got engaged. The girl was like, I would not want to compromise on the terms of money. My first thought was like, money is that important? Like, not sure.
Even if you don't have a problem with earning more, sometimes men struggle with feeling a little bit emasculated if they at that current stage are earning less than you.
Exactly.
Or come from less financial standing, and you don't want to create that dynamic in which your partner is insecure from the get.
Or even uncomfortable because that awkward energy.
Bill aata hai, ya aap kahin ja rahe ho. There's always this in the back of your mind that like guys are earning differently, right?
In future, if I marry someone, I should be equal. I don't want a rich husband. I want to be rich enough. Agar samne se, if he's giving me a Gucci, I can give him a Prada.
Yeah.
Like, that is who I want to become.
I also feel people, especially in this trend, we should be very, very open to the idea that the other person might lose a job if he's a good job, or the business might suffer a loss, right? And you need to prepare on your own hand. And like, I've had friends and I've had conversations where some also think that, okay, after marriage, I don't want to work at all because Ameer aadmi hai, main kya karungi? Now I have all the money. Why would I go through the struggle and everything? And now the expectation is more towards like samne wala provide kar bhi raha, so it's like it should be my choice if I want to take that providing
But now
or
you're
not.
entirely dependent on another person. Like, you're in a position of complete financial dependence. And that's a position I don't think any of us want to be in ever.
It's a privilege to be wanting to work and not work, right?
And it should be choice at the end.
Have you seen that movie Judai, जिसमें Sri Devi sold her husband?
Oh, I saw that! That is so
So
funny.
Sri Devi sold her husband to another woman for money. Later in the end, she realized कि नहीं इन पैसों का तो क्या करूँगी अकेले if I don't have my love. And then so the end of the story is कि ठीक है पैसा था, but it's not that important.
Sometimes work and your professional life is also a proxy for your thought process and your mindset. So I read the statistic about how older, really successful men, they could date anyone. Like they could date a 21-year-old nanny and they have access to those people, but inevitably they end up marrying women who are pretty much the similar age to them and who are equally successful as them. Why? Because while beauty and youth is appealing in the short term, you have to be able to have a conversation with them, and the intellectual stimulation that you get from someone who shares the ambition and drive that you have is something that's going to sustain a relationship a lot longer than like sundar hu, but I don't really have that much else going on, making my husband my whole personality. Again, no judgment to those people who choose that lifestyle,
Each to their
but
own.
in terms of compatibility, then your partner should also like be like chill, like not that intellectual or deep.
Being in the corporate world, I've realized that after I go home, I just want one thing from the man, and that's like he's able to make me laugh.
Yeah.
Because I'm in such back-to-back serious meetings and serious conversations and idea strategy, and I want to go home and be like,
Yeah, just take care of me.
just don't even take care of me. Just love me. Yeah, just make me laugh. Like that's one dopamine that I'm craving.
So office
zero.
romance, discuss.
No, I don't encourage it.
Pam और Jim ठीक है, but real life में नहीं हो रहा.
I think it's like
Yeah.
why not? Like you never know you get someone nice in the office.
It's
At the
also a
same time-
personality trait, right? Like if you are able to navigate both the things well.
You have to be mature.
Yeah.
And set boundaries.
Yeah.
Set boundaries or be from two different departments, don't be from the same department. It
Don't be
really
from the
helps.
same department. Don't be a senior junior
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Don't cheat on partners who
Don't
are
cheat.
outside of the office. Like I think office is notorious for infidelity too. So don't do that.
So when I was a kid and when I was single, so what I used to do is कि I used to have a lot of crushes. One at school, one at tuition, one in my colony, one in my bus, so that I'm always motivated and I can to look good and to always be able to go. So तभी तो मेरी attendance पूरी थी. कभी कमी नहीं हुई है स्कूल में.
10 a.m. in the office just to roam around and be like, yeah, hey.
Walk around.
Coffee, having a bad weekend, and then just start talking randomly. Just
Yeah.
keep taking rounds of that particular space where the person sits.
But also, like dating someone in the office, like you're able to push each other to be better too.
That's true.
If you're working with somebody, you can motivate them to push themselves, to grow. It is nice in that aspect.
Like you observe so much, like you observe the other person in so many situations that you know, okay, this person is gonna act like in that particular manner.
To observe somebody in different scenarios, and the office is a good way because in a conflict situation, how do they resolve conflict? How do they take leadership? What is their communication style? All of this is gold to assess someone for relationship potential. When you're on a date, you don't get to see how they are with their male colleague.
They present the best version
Version
to
of
you.
themselves.
Your office personality is different from your personality outside your workplace, right?
That's also
it's
true.
so much different. Like
You wear a mask, right?
You have to be respectful.
I have to be a good communicator because I mentioned in my interview. Now I have to be. I'm not a good communicator when it comes to my personal life. Now what do I do?
Yeah, and
But I also feel like after like a month is gone, your aapka real face comes out. Like you just start being yourself in so many situations that you just know.
That's true, but I would disagree in the sense that like my work demands me to be extremely extroverted. But in my personal life, I'm very introverted. That brings me to another point. If you're dating in office and you break up in office, you have to see them every day.
that's the worst.
So I would rather eat a jean jacket than have to see my ex every single day.
Oh, that is a different struggle. Bhai, can't even imagine.
You can
Can't
actually
even
like
imagine,
I
bhai.
feel very strongly you can't heal from a breakup if that person is in the same
you
space
can't
as
heal in the same place that hurt you, right?
each one of us occupies leadership positions at the office. The energy that I step into is one that I would describe as a masculine energy.
Yeah.
I have to embody a very go-getter, alpha, independent, masculine, problem solving, and these are all traits that exude that masculine quality. And when I'm in a dating context, I struggle to switch into my soft feminine because I spend 90% of my life telling people what to do and being on top of things and commanding the space, right? So how have you guys managed to settle into a more feminine energy?
That's really interesting, honestly. Like, I think it has just become a part of my personality now. So that I've accepted the part of where I'm actually going to be the dominating one in a lot of situations, right? You don't want to make an instant decision, right? So I would not wait and think, oh, what do you feel about that? And I would not do that. I'll just be like, guys, let's do this. And I think sometimes that comes across as, you know what, you don't care about me, you don't think about me.
Or you don't need me,
You
right?
don't
Like
need
men
me,
like to
exactly.
feel needed, like they are in control.
And it's very difficult to accept that, switch and also accept the part that I have to make that the person feel that, you know, I need you at sometimes and everything.
I've had like a really bad day at work and I'll come home and like take it out on a partner. Because you can't blow up at your boss, you can't blast your coworker. So you go home and you blast
And you
the
get
only
annoyed at
person.
the smallest of things. Like if it's not going your way, it just becomes so annoying. There's no patience left for the person you're dating after you have like drained out your energy at work, and you're like, excuse me, hi, I'm missing, and it's going well. How about you? And even if you're angry, and then you go home and you're like, and the person's like, can we go out? You just get annoyed and you start shouting and you just take everything out, and then you feel guilty.
There's a book which is like How to Not Die Alone, and it's written by one of the most famous dating sites CEO. She gave a very nice advice that don't go on a date after like doing like 12 hours long meetings, right? Listen to a very nice song before you enter the date. Listen to like a very soothing sort of a music, get into your feminine energy and then enter the date. And you know, I've been honestly trying to do that. It works sometimes, it doesn't work half the time because I'm never able to check out, but
Do you have a ritual on that? Like,
definitely, I do have a ritual. Firstly, I try not to keep the date on like my work days. I try to keep it when there's like a day off.
Corporate again.
एक मिनट आपको डे ऑफ मिल रहा है और अगर मिल रहा है आप काम नहीं कर रहे डे ऑफ
But yeah, but like a couple of hours where I'm like actually checking out of work, right? That's my secret time. Even if the date went good, it went bad, it's about my time.
I've definitely been guilty of showing up to dates like in my work clothes. I definitely feel like your clothing and your attire impacts so much about the person's impression of you, but also how you feel in your own self.
And the energy you put across the table.
The energy you put across. I'll roll up straight out of office, right? With like my work bag in one hand and my phone in the other. Like he can see that the light behind my eyes is faded at that point.
Post jab we met Geet, like when Geet loses her, when Geet loses her spark, maybe that, but yeah, hopefully the massages, the painting, spending time with girlies will help us come back to ourselves.
What would you do, Chandra?
I can't wear my work perfume on a date because otherwise I'm still at work. Like I have a whole different scent that I do when I'm in like a sexy or glamorous or like romantic context. If God forbid I wear that to work like that, no work is getting done, you know?
So tell me,
I think we need to all break up with the question too, like speaking of dates, like what do you do for work?
Yeah.
Like, I think when we lead with that, yes, your work tells you a lot about a person. Agreed. And yes, it's important information. But are we defining someone by just what they do? I don't want to be defined by just what I do, right? And you're going to find out eventually. So my new strategy that I want everyone to start implementing is like, what are some exciting projects you're working on lately? What are some passion projects you have going
Exactly.
on? What are you excited about in the next few months?
What do you do apart from work?
Then it's up to them. Like if they want to volunteer information about their work and that's important to them, they can do that. But they don't feel compelled to define their own identity and derive it from their place of employment. Not everybody wants to admit they work at Deloitte, guys. Like it is embarrassing. Come on. It's a little embarrassing.
There have been so many days that I've not spoken about my work until they have asked to, because sometimes in the back of my head, it's not my identity. Like it's not something I do to earn money, but there's so much more to me. Like I'm funny, I'm maybe silly, and I love spaghetti. I can survive on spaghetti. So these fun facts, I would like the guy to have these kind of conversations other than, you know what, I'm XYZ, I earn this much, I don't want to marry you immediately.
As a society, we define a lot of people from just their like LinkedIn.
I don't want to know like you work at this consultancy firm for some sustainability project. Like, I mean, I'm interested, but later on. But first, I want to know about you.
काम के अलावा क्या कर रहे हो?
I have to do something else also now.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest takeaway. The last date I went on, the guy asked me, what do you do for work? And I spoke about it for good 40 minutes and I came back and my friend asked me, how was it? I was like, oh, it was fun. He asked me about what I do. And then he ghosted me. And then I reflected as to why I was ghosted. And I realized that I made my entire personality about work when I'm so much more.
I love that you're reflecting on your own shortcomings. Like we're not all perfect all the time.
Also, good morning text क्यों नहीं हो रहे हैं? क्योंकि सुबह ईमेल चेक हो रहे हैं ना. सुबह ईमेल
हम तो WhatsApp चेक ही नहीं कर रहे तो कैसे देखेंगे?
तुम्हें लग रहा है मैं Instagram चेक कर रही हूँ, but apparently I'm just checking my Gmail. This happened with me. So I broke up And the next day, I had my office. I slept at 5, I woke up at 8, and my office was like 2 hours away. Then I had to travel with all that, energy जो मेरे पास थी भी नहीं. So then I went to my office. Apparently, my boss was not that toxic, so I shared with him, I had a breakup. Then he was like, what happened? And I was like, this happened. Then also you can't overshare, no? Office में you can't overshare.
It just becomes a part of content eventually.
It was the worst experience ever.
There should be breakup leave. पता है
Breakup leave होना चाहिए.
like sick leave होता है.
Period leave is so rare. Chandra, what are you talking about?
नहीं, breakup leave तो you don't want me in your office on that day. I will be crying everywhere. Like ऐसे हुआ था, मैं meeting, serious meeting चल रही है, रुक ही नहीं रही है, tears. HR had to take me outside to the stairs and be like, Chandra, you need to stop crying in this meeting. It's like really unprofessional. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't stop it. I can't control. You will be fighting for your life, and that's when someone will circle back on an email with you and ask for that task from last week. Hi. Yeah.
I think the best phases of my career has been when I've had a downfall in my relationship and like breakup, because I feel like I'm a top performer when I'm like low in my life.
अब तो breakup हो गया,
अब तो glow up आना है.
So what's the final verdict? Is your job ruining your love life? I think the final verdict is कि, please have boundaries. I know you'll feel guilty about like checking out or clocking out from your work.
Yeah.
But that is the hardest part. थोड़े दिन लगेगा, it'll be weird. You have to do it. Have boundaries for yourself. Have boundaries on work more than your personal life. Everyone thinks, by working 12 hours and working on weekends, मैं तो एक साल में CEO बन जाऊंगी. नहीं बनता है कोई CEO. Let me break it for you. एक साल
नहीं बनोगे guys.
यहाँ भी दिल टूट रहा है.
By 28, so I had planned, I'll have a stable job, I'll have a stable partner. ना ही stable job हो रही है, ना ही stable partner हो रहा है.
So you need to prioritize what you actually value and not be a part of the just competitive dynamic world जहाँ पे सब एक चीज का तो मुझे भी इधर पहुँचना है. And since then I think I've just detached and been in a position where I reflected and I understood that these are the few things I don't want to compromise on, and that's one of them is being family, friends, my personal relationships, and then also at the same time doing well in my career. So I think getting to that eventually is my final
just not losing your spark, right? Like that is the most important.
Are my dark circles visible? Because I've not lost my spark.
I've always felt like women can have it all.
Yeah, I do feel that.
Growing up, seeing really successful women around me, whether it's my own mom or whether it's so many other people, even in the media, seeing amazing killer actresses, models, having stable family lives, having stable marriages and relationships, and also killing it in their career. But I think men also, like, you can have a love life and a job, no problem. You can hit those career targets, you can make crores and crores of money and still feel fulfilled and rewarded in your personal life. Okay, so everyone, our boss is calling us. We gotta run. We'll catch you next week for our weekly sync up.
Subscribe कर दो बस काफी है. Like, subscribe and share.
हमारे targets meet हो जाएंगे. Chalo guys, we'll see you in the next one. Gotta run. Bye.